With 24 Stanley Cups to their name, the Montreal Canadiens are the most storied franchise in the National Hockey League. But they haven't seen a storybook ending in decades. Now, as they head into the playoffs at the top of their division, with a shot at their first cup in 22 years, expectations had never been higher for one PK Subban. Last summer, Subban signed an 8-year, $72 million contract with the Canadiens, making him the highest-paid defenseman in the league. It's a far cry from his humble beginnings at the center of an unlikely hockey family. The fact that Subban is a black superstar in a league that's close to 95% white is only part of the story. At 25, Subban is a showman on skates, an offensively gifted defenseman who sees himself as a game changer, a style, as we found out, he picked up on the outdoor rinks of his native Toronto. On a recent winter's night with the temperatures dipping into single digits, PK Subban took to the public rink outside Toronto's City Hall.
Yeah, look, I still got it.
Subban's father, Carl, taught PK the game here. We asked them to show us the spot.
Come on, Carl.
And they were happy to oblige.
I kind of want to stay out here for a little bit now. You got something like that? Put your skates on. Let's see it.
Before long, Subban slipped into the nightly pickup game, known here as shinny, to the delight of the regular Joes.
My little piece of the NHL. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, no problem, man.
Do you remember the sights and the sounds and the smells
The
like
smell.
you were?
The smell for sure. The smell for sure. It's the same smell, and you know, it's the same people, same type of guys.
Same looks on their face?
Yeah, it's just guys that love the game of hockey.
Anytime you're welcome here to play some shinny with us anytime.
That's good to know, boys. That's good to know.
When you would come out here with your dad, you're like 5 and 6 years old.
Yeah. Late too, you know, 11, 12 o'clock at night. To me, this is where you learn just throwing a puck on the ice and fooling around with it and playing with your buddies.
Now in his 6th NHL season, Subban isn't fooling around anymore.
Berglund for Jackman, look out!
At 6 feet and 215 pounds, Pernell Carl Subban is an explosive combination of freight train speed, uncanny control, a booming shot, and killer instinct. Like this dagger he stuck into Nashville in overtime. It was almost like you knew it was going in before you shot it. Is that a feeling you get?
Well, the feeling starts in overtime. Whether I have to put it around somebody or through somebody, it's going in. And it's like when you smell blood, you got to know when to just end it.
Subban, he scores! Montreal wins the game. A power play goal by PK Subban.
Does your psychology change in those moments?
I'm thinking about what would Kobe do when they're down by 2 points and he gets the ball. What would Michael Jordan do, and what's Tiger going to do when it's one shot away? They're going to put the ball in the hole, in the basket. That's just it. So for me, when I get the opportunity to be a game changer, I have to do that. I have to change the game.
In hockey, the most buttoned-down and provincial of sports, game changers the likes of Subban come around about as often as a mild winter in Montreal.
That's right, baby.
After a win, he's the life of the party.
Get low for a player.
On the ice, he's not above pushing his point on a referee.
Don't come over here because it delays the game.
I've been out there for
Just listen to me and just say thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
And after a game-winning goal, some over-the-top theatrics. So the whole bow and arrow thing.
Well, people have criticized it in the past, but what did I do last night?
You scored a hell of a goal to win a game.
And I think the bow and
what
arrow...
happened after that?
I think the bow and arrow came out one more time.
Yeah, it sure did.
He gives the crowd something to talk about.
So when people call you a showman, or they call you cocky, or they call you flashy,
Well, number one, I don't care. Number two, anybody that knows me personally knows that I'm not cocky. I'm a confident individual, but I'm not cocky. I would never put myself ahead of my teammates. Never.
Subban's antics have occasionally backfired to the point where this season he became the only player to be fined twice for flopping. something more often seen in soccer.
You know, there's a lot of other guys on the ice that do things that don't ever get called and it doesn't really get noticed.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there's a lot of attention when I'm out there. I think that people are watching what I'm doing, and that's fine.
Do you think it's because you're black?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'd like to think that you're going to notice me because of my slap shot or my ability to make a nice play. I'd hope that's the main reason of why you would notice me out there. I mean, that's what I want anyway.
In a league of just under 700 players, Subban is one of about 20 black players. On the road, he's often the villain. Here in his adopted hometown, he relishes his role as a hero, using his second language to win over the crowd.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Ça va bien, Piqué.
In this bilingual old world city by the river, where the Catholic Church once dominated, hockey is religion. The Bell Center where the faithful come to worship. It's a modern building with an old-time hockey feel. Up in the rafters, the history of this franchise literally hangs over the players' heads. 24 Stanley Cup banners and 15 retired numbers. Behind the glass, we met the man who now signs the checks.
Our family's always sat behind the bench.
So you sat there as a kid growing up?
Yeah.
Wow. Jeff Molson, as in Molson Beer, is a third-generation owner of the Canadians. It's not like the beer business.
It's highly emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch these fans, they're watching every second of this game right now.
Yeah. You're writing a really big check to him.
He's always working. Often he's the last person off the ice, first person on the ice, and that gives you confidence when you sign a long-term contract.
Marc Bergevin, an NHL defenseman himself for 20 years, is the Canadiens' general manager.
Players like Piqué, there are not many around the league. They're hard to find. It's the way he could turn a game around, the way he competes. I mean, he has a shot that could score from anywhere inside the blue line.
That puck just explodes off of Piqué Subban's stick.
The pressure is constant here. There's nowhere to hide. 2 official languages means twice the crush of recorders, cameras, and microphones.
You think you're playing well?
Last season, with fixed cameras rolling,
Is it summer hockey that I don't know? No.
a show produced by the club itself aired this behind-the-scenes snippet of Subban getting an earful between periods from coach Michel Therrien.
Skate, move the fuck. The guy was open. Skate, you're not there. I know you're not there. I told the guys before the game, he's not there. With the way he practiced yesterday, he's not going to be there.
Subban says it all comes with the territory.
Whether you agree with what he's saying or not, you have to respect your coach, and I do respect him. As long as we win, I don't care. I don't care if he wants to yell at me every day, if I have to have 10 meetings a day. If we're winning and I'm helping the team win and I'm doing my job, that's all that matters.
You now have one of the richest contracts in hockey in a city that lives and dies with the sport. How much pressure do you feel?
Oh, I don't feel any.
Any?
None. I go back to the first time I ever wore a Montreal Canadiens jersey, you know, and playing at home in front of a huge crowd and a big game, an elimination game. And to me, it didn't matter. It didn't matter how many people were in the stands, how loud it was. All I saw was the opportunity to establish myself as an NHLer.
That opportunity was born when Subban's father, Carl, left his native Jamaica in 1970. The family settled in a snowy French-speaking town in northern Ontario, where they rooted for the Montreal Canadiens.
With the first snowfall, the boards went up, the ice went in, the skates went on, and the game was on. And the kids invited me to play. And that's how I fell in love with the game.
This is Piqué. Going to the zigzag for you.
Carl wasted no time putting his own kids on skates.
There's Natasha, figure skating.
In winter, he flooded the backyard for Piqué and his 4 siblings. And when Piqué outgrew this rink,
Come on, Dad.
Carl moved to the public rink downtown.
Dad, did you?
Hey, I used to be able to catch you and keep up to you. I can't do that anymore.
Back when he could still keep up, a father and son ran drills here, after Carl worked 2 teaching jobs well into the night.
Speed underneath.
Carl Subban remembers he and PK's mother, Maria, had an unconventional bedtime routine for their 5-year-old son.
PK would normally go to sleep, sometimes with his snow pants on. And then I'd come home, and if he wasn't up, I'd wake him up, and then we'd head down to Nathan Phillips Square.
Was this Carl's idea in the beginning? I just want to get that out.
Yes,
straight.
it was his idea.
His idea.
Because one night I woke up and they weren't home, and I was so frightened. Then I see him coming with PK, sleeping on his shoulder, and he said he had a ball. Yeah. He said PK had a ball. He didn't want to leave.
Look at that. He's such a great-looking skater.
He skated every day. That was the goal for the winter. It's like you're recording this, the kilometers or the miles on this odometer.
By the time he started playing on a team, PK had already recorded a lot of miles on the ice in shots in his basement.
We'd go in the basement and we'd be shooting pucks. I'm not sure how accurate it was, and because that furnace, I think we just had to change the furnace in our first house because
I was wondering where those holes in the wall were.
Yeah, he would miss the mattress I had on the wall, you know what I mean?
A few wayward shots.
Yeah, I banged a few off the furnace, yeah, for sure. I shot a lot of pucks as a kid. I remember at one point I was probably shooting close to 2,000 pucks a day.
As parents, there's a fine line between developing your children and parental obsession, which can kill those dreams.
Yes.
How did you walk that line?
It's okay to push our children, just don't push them over that emotional cliff.
Yes.
And it's okay for parents to want it more than our children early on, but eventually our children must want it more than we want it. Yeah. And that's what has happened with us.
After a solid career in the juniors, at 18 years old, Subban was drafted in the 2nd round by the team that first ignited his father's passion for the game. And when it's clear it's the Canadiens, what did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. I think the Montreal Canadiens, to the Subban family anyway, isn't just a hockey team. It represents the first time my dad came to Canada.
Malcolm Subban from the Belleville Bulls.
The Subbans have seen all 3 of their sons drafted in the NHL. Malcolm went to the Canadiens' arch-rival Boston Bruins.
And now he's going to have to play against PK. Boston, Montreal, baby, bring it on!
And the youngest, Jordan, to the Vancouver Canucks. It's a pretty deep gene pool with you two.
I think my kids, they have that competitiveness, and they always want to be the best.
First goal in the OHL right there.
In the basement of the house PK bought for his parents, we got a look at the result.
Remember the pizza tournament right here?
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what it is.
Boxes stuffed with old jerseys, team photos, and equipment. And this relic.
Those are girls' figure skates.
Yeah, they are.
PK's first pair of skates. Hand-me-downs from his older sisters.
He wants everybody to cut him some slack because he's, when he first moved from Jamaica, he didn't know much about hockey.
But once I learned what they're about, remember what I told you? Sticks and stones may break your bone, but the white skates won't hurt you.
This is the shirt? Okay.
Subban is long done with hand-me-downs. He's acquired a taste for tailor-made clothes. We never saw him in anything but a suit off the ice.
How did you come up with that idea? We saw that red velvet and we said, oh, that's PK.
All part of the long-term plan to build the PK brand.
This jacket is what I call styling, profiling.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, of course you can touch it. Be careful, it's hot.
For a rich young man with more than a little joie de vivre, Montreal is the perfect playground.
Have they been hitting on you since they've been here?
The whole time.
From a warm greeting at his favorite sushi restaurant.
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
To a frozen one outside the team's practice facility.
Bonjour. Have you guys been waiting?
You're too, Mark.
It's minus 23 outside. PK Subban!
But Subban hasn't lost sight of the real measure of men here. Hockey gods who wrote their legend the only way it counts in this city, on the ice and on a cup. PK, when you walk into this locker room, you walk past those 24 Stanley Cups out in that glass case time and time again. How often do you think of 25?
You know, we have to win one here. We have to.
He'll come around. Subban leads, scores, what a goal!
If it happens, how much of that journey is going to be on your back?
I think a fair part of it will be, on my back. But the one thing about winning a Stanley Cup is that 22 guys are going to shoulder that weight, and I want my teammates to look to me to be the guy to make the difference. I want them to know that, listen, I'm going to do the job when you guys need me to.